Hey guys, how you doing? Jason Heine here, Emulator Review, coming right back at you with a recent retro pickups. This is going to be fun because I have lots of different games, and actually for the first time strategy guides are involved in this, which I don't believe I've ever done before. It's kind of half and half. Half of these Stephanie got, and then one was a gift, so this is really cool. Before we get started, of course, I want to draw your attention to this magnificent display that we have right here. Of course, this is the portal gun, and we also have the gravity gun from Half-Life 2. These here, Stephanie owns these. These are an official Valve product that she bought. They run off batteries, and they both light up and make sounds. They're amazing, and we do run around the house and have wars, just like laser tag, because why not? So, with that being said, let's go ahead and jump right into this. I want to draw your attention here first to the Ion Icade. This is something that I've been wanting for a long time, and Stephanie and I went to Toys R Us and we cruised through the clearance section. Believe it or not, they had this in the box over there. The box looked like it was open, and so I was kind of worried about that, but they only wanted $20 for it. So I took a gamble. I thought, even if it wasn't complete or broken or something, I could just come back and return it. So I took a gamble. Come to find out, it's perfect. There's nothing wrong with it. All the screws were there, everything. I mean, it functions just as a brand new iCade. So got very lucky here. These, when they were new, sold for over $100. So very neat there. Next here, I want to go ahead and talk about, it's a plug and play, and as a lot of you know, I love collecting plug and plays. This one here, of course, from our good friends at Jakks Pacific. This is called the iClops, and what this does is it has this base, which takes the batteries, and then it has this handle and sphere on the end, and what it is inside here is a webcam, basically, and it's a little tiny camera that magnifies 200 times whatever is in front of it. So you take this, it's a flat surface, so you take this and you put it straight down like that, and all it has is one video output here, and it will magnify something 200 times. And it's crazy cool. Like, whatever you do not put it on your arm and look at your skin, because it is messed up. Like, you can see your hairs look like freaking logs. It's just weird, like, oh my God, it's trippy. But this is really cool. So if you ever come across these, they're very neat and very cool to collect. It's called the iClops. You can adjust the zoom by turning the tip of the sphere. It's just really weird looking, isn't it? It's just crazy, but very cool. The iClops right there. All right, next, let's go ahead and jump into the strategy guides. This was really neat. So Stephanie found these two, all right? So first of all, she found the House of the Dead 2 official strategy guide here for Dreamcast. It talks about the different levels, the different paths you take, the different game modes, what happens when you go a certain path. It's just a very nice, very cool strategy guide. And it's just nice to see that out in the wild. I mean, House of the Dead 2, amazing game. All right, the next strategy guide here, this is a really cool one. Stephanie is super thrilled about this one. She's a huge Legend of Zelda fan, so when she came across this, it was a no-brainer. This is Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess official strategy guide, and oh my God, it's like as thick as a Bible here. This thing is really cool. It was released in 2006, and you can't really see it. I'll try to zoom in on it, but it says GameCube version right down here. Very cool, very collectible. It honestly looks like it hasn't even really been opened or used because there's no creasing and everything is very crisp on it. And so I'm gonna open just a little bit of it to show you, but I don't wanna open it too much. It even has this poster, which is still attached in here, and I don't know what she's gonna do, if she's gonna actually take that or just leave it in there, but it's so cool that this really was never used, and she got this for super cheap. It's amazing. So you're probably wondering why I got Excitebots Trick Racing out here. One of my favorite, if not probably my favorite racing game on Nintendo Wii right here. Long story short, I went to GameStop, I was killing some time, and I was just cruising around, and I saw this in their cheap bin, and it was $1.99. And that just goes to show, they obviously don't know how great of a game it is, and that it, you know, it looks like it's marketed towards children, and it was just dirt cheap, and I thought, I'm buying it. I'm gonna give it away or something, you know? Come to find out, take it to the front counter, they can't find the game, it's gone. So maybe they do know how good it is because someone jacked the game. And so the guy's like, oh, I'm sorry, we don't have it. And of course, I'm looking at this, it's complete. It's got the Nintendo Club reward, it's got the manual. I mean, the case is, for once, it's clean, doesn't have stickers all over it. And I just told the guy at GameStop, I said, I know you're gonna throw this away, so I'm just gonna take it. And he's like, yeah, no worries. I am gonna throw it away, so just take it and have it. So I like rescuing games. I even like rescuing the cases from the dumpsters, and that feels good. Only have a few PS2, but still, how about this? A little 8 megabyte memory card. When you see these out in the wild, man, you gotta pick them up. People are starting to want an arm and a leg for these things, you know? So it's getting kind of crazy. So found this at Goodwill for a few dollars, which is nice because it's a lot cheaper than what most places want for them. Here's LA Rush on the PS2, and you guys know I'm a huge fan of Rush and San Francisco Rush. This here is the last game with the name Rush in it, I believe. Also done by Midway, so it's from the same company and developer that did that. And I love San Francisco Rush. I miss the game. I play it all the time. But this here, it's not really a Rush game per se. It's more like a Midnight Club type open world, Midnight Club, Grand Theft Auto, West Coast Customs, if you were to put something together and figure out what that might be. It's kind of like this here, but really cool game because it has obviously the game, and then inside it also has the bonus music CD in perfect shape. So that was neat. Most games don't have the music CD inside, so that's neat. Lego Racers 2. Oh, you know me, I love quirky, wacky racers. So this is really neat when I saw it. And Lego Racers 2, that means there was the first one that I didn't know about either. I'm gonna have to pick that up too. But it looks really neat. And if you just take your favorite Lego cars and little vehicles and race them on Lego tracks, I mean, that's exactly what this looks like. So how bad can it be? Haven't played it yet, but I'm really excited to try and do so. Lego Racers 2. All right, let's go ahead and jump out of order a little bit. Well, I guess there really isn't any order of this, but I got some 3DS, 2DS, DS stuff going on here. Not a whole lot, but a few things here. Hot Wheels World's Best Driver. And at first I thought this was gonna be like a proper Hot Wheels racing game, but don't get it confused. And this is released on quite a few different platforms. This is like Trackmania. If you guys don't know what Trackmania is, it's also a racing game, but basically you start the track and you have to go through the track and get the best time possible by taking the quickest route, doing stunts, and just getting there as quick as possible. And it's basically like time trials. This is exactly what this is like, except in the Hot Wheels world. So still a really fun game. You race on the cool Hot Wheel tracks, done by Warner Brothers, and it looks really good on Nintendo 3DS. I have a 2DS, by the way. But just so you know, going into that, if you're expecting it to be like a proper Hot Wheels racing game, get Hot Wheels Turbo Racing on either PS1 or Nintendo 64. That's one of the best Hot Wheel games I've ever played. Heavy Fire, The Chosen Few. Stephanie ordered some games from Walmart online, and they're like buy one, get two free. This was a long time ago, back in December, I believe. And so this was the one game that I got to pick. And it's a rail shooter, and I thought, how bad can it be? And actually, it's not horrible. I give a game a little more credit than most people, but it's not good by any means. Like when you shoot the enemies, there's like they make the same sound. It's like ah, ah, ah. It's really funny. Like you just have to hear it on this. It's ridiculous, but super cheap game. Don't expect anything really, but I like the rail shooters on that because you can use a stylus and just like shoot where you want to shoot. That's kind of neat. It's like point and click basically. Mario Party Island Tour. Yes, love this. It's a very good game. Huge. You guys know I'm a huge fan of the Mario Party series. What a great franchise. I love it. Been there pretty much since the beginning. And I gotta say, Nintendo, please get some online games in your Mario Party games. I mean, what an opportunity. You're missing out. It's pissing me off. Everyone out there wants it. You would have a huge opportunity on 2DS, 3DS, Wii U if you just feature some multiplayer. Really? Come on, man. Let's do it. Same time I picked up this was also in the clearance section. This is Dream Trigger 3D. I know it's hard to show, but it looks like a space shooter, almost like Star Fox style. Not at all. Actually, I'm sorry if you like this game, but I really just do not like this game. It's basically like you're this little bug and you just fly around and you have to try to, you know, gather all these little dots or pellets and then also like shoot in different directions. And in theory it sounds good, on paper it looks good, but it doesn't play right. The first level I got in there and played for honestly like 6 or 7 seconds and it was like done. Like I touched one color pellet that I shouldn't have and I died and it was like game over. That was it, like one life. It's weird, I don't know. And lastly here, I got a Nintendo 2DS travel case, carry case. This is really nice because, you know, trips coming up, I want to be able to put it in something and protect it and take it on travels with me. So this is really neat, and it also matches the same color as to the 2DS that I have. So very neat right there. Let's go and get into some PS1. Some of these I've played, some of these I have not. So actually majority of these I have not played, but that's okay because I want to talk about it and then I want you guys to put down in the comments if you've played them, and that's why we do this. It's a lot of fun. And I'll give my opinions later on down the road, but Mass Destruction. This is cool. I actually have played this one. This is a neat game where you're just basically like this little baby tank flying around, driving around, and you can just basically destroy anything in your sight. And it's a ton of fun. It's very addictive. It's like a top-down tank action kind of shooter game where you just basically hold down the shoot button and you just destroy everything. It's a lot of fun. But one player analog control and very, very cool. ASC Games developed this one. A really, really cool game there. Blast Radius, and what I like about this game, I have not played it yet, but what stood out to me is it's done by Psygnosis, and those guys were on the front lines for me. Back when I originally got my PS1, they developed one of my favorite games that really got me into car destruction type games, and that was Destruction Derby. The second game that I owned on the PlayStation 1 back prior to, of course, Ridge Racer that came with the console. But so this is like a spaceship. It looks like a spaceship shooter, almost kind of like Star Fox style. So that's kind of neat. 9 assault crafts to choose from, 37 different types of intelligent enemy crafts. I'm just reading what it says here on the back because I haven't played it. 40 different missions, 3D environments, deathmatch arenas, 2-player link. Oh yeah, so you can link cables with consoles and play back in the day. It's pretty neat. They actually did that with Destruction Derby too. So very cool looking game there. I'm excited to try it. Tetris Plus. This is a really, really good Tetris port. If you like Tetris at all and you have a PlayStation 1 or 2, you should pick this game up. I actually already own it, but I don't own the Greatest Hits. And the Greatest Hits is a little different. This is gold up here, and it looks like it's raised, like the text and everything. It's really neat. So this is a really nice pickup right here. I love this. It's got some really fun game modes, and all in all, it's just a really good Tetris game. I highly recommend it. G-Police Weapons of Justice. No idea. Looks interesting. Also done by Psygnosis. We got a theme going on here. This here, the war's over, but the battle's just begun. Join the G-Police as they outgun and outrun their deadliest enemies yet in the street, air, and space combat. And so that's what really sucked me in. It's basically like a street, air, and space combat game. It's a little bit of everything. And it was cheap, super cheap. So even if the game's bad, it's still cool to get another game from Psygnosis and something that is very interesting looking. It actually looks good on the back here. Can't complain. So we'll see what happens. G-Police. Renegade Racers. Wacky multiplayer mayhem. This here is done by Interplay. And I bought this because I feel like they're trying to do something like Diddy Kong Racing did, where they have hovercrafts, boats, and it's kind of themed more towards on the water, but you do have a few different vehicle types to choose from. And what's even more important to me, and the reason why I bought it, 1, interplay, 2, you know I love crazy wacky racers, but 3, it says 1 to 8 players on the back. So you can basically multi-tap, double multi-tap this and do 8 players. I can't imagine what that's like, and I would love to try that. So I love games that feature like double multi-tap, you know, up to 8 players. That is really, really cool. So Renegade Racers by Interplay. RC Stunt Copter, another game done by Interplay, or distributed by Interplay. This is done by Shiny Entertainment. What's interesting about this is I love RC games. You guys know that, the Revolt and so forth. I don't have any games that are actually an RC flight, helicopter, airplane, any of that. So this really caught my eye. It was honestly like a couple bucks. So, you know, the case is cracked and it's in rough shape. The game's decent, but I mean, how can you go wrong with a game like this, huh? You fly around a helicopter, can't beat it. So I'm excited to try it. And the last one here on PS1, another crazy wacky racer here, Cubics Robots for Everyone. No idea. I mean, this looks like a Micro Machines wannabe ripoff. It's a top-down kind of isometric robot racing game, and it almost appears like the robots run. So, like, there aren't vehicles, you just run as the robots. A very interesting concept. It says Racing Robots, as seen on Warner Brothers Kids, so it's based off of a TV show. I've never seen the TV show, I've never even heard of it. And it looks like it's done by 3DO. 4Kids Entertainment, Blitz Games. It's right up my alley. I can't wait to see how great or shitty this game is. Game Boy Advance SP, look at this. At Savers, I found this for $1.99. This is a Game Boy Advance SP travel case, carry case. It's got a theme going with this stuff. But very nice, it's clean. It doesn't have the strap, but it does have all the Velcro, the zipper works, it's functional. And this is great to put your Game Boy Advance in, and also has room here in the zipper to store quite a few of your games, charger, all that sort of thing. Really, really neat. I mean, a couple dollars, absolutely. Got a few games on the PSP. Pete Dorr said, Jason, you'd probably love Mock. We were talking on the podcast, but this is an amazing game. I gotta tell you, and Pete, wonderful recommendation. It's right on my alley. It's a arcade style, basically a mix between like modern and futuristic arcade shooters. Like I'm trying to put it into words. It's basically, let's see, is there a description on the back here? Modified air combat heroes, outlaw pilots competing in a deadly aerial contest of skill, speed, and weaponry. Fly around, it's got a great lock-on system. It's a pick up and play game. There's really no learning curve. It's just you go out, you fly, you have fun, you take enemies down, and you know, you upgrade your craft. It's a ton of fun. It's also done by Sierra, so you know, big shout out there too. Great recommendation. This is Mock, Modified Air Combat Heroes. Metal Slug Anthology. One of the greatest and definitive, in my book, definitive games if you're a Metal Slug fan. They released this on several platforms, I believe. I have it on Wii, and I believe they did this on PS2. Did they do it on PS3 and Xbox 360? I think that they did. But this here has all of the Metal Slug games, even including, for the first time on this compilation, Metal Slug 6. And of course, ATV Off-Road Fury for $3.99. I picked this up out in the wild. And, well, what's it called? Fury, okay, ATV Off-Road Fury Blazing Trails is what this one is technically called. One of the first games I played on the PS2. I did a video on my channel. I'm very partial to this game. I have lots of history with this game. Him and I go way back. We go way back. Found the Nintendo 64 Memory Expansion Pack out in the wild for $1.99. This is really cool because I'm starting to see these now go for between $20 and $30. Wow, I remember when you could honestly just get either online or even in the wild and find them for like $5. Not so much anymore. Game Gear, I know, right? I think this is the first time I'm doing a Game Gear game as well. This is X-Men for Game Gear. I found this at a Savers for $3.99. And that's about what it's worth. And I thought, man, this is gonna be like a beat 'em up. It has to be a beat 'em up. Actually, no. It's kind of like a side-scrolling platformer game. Any other X-Men game that you find out there, I just think of the arcade, you know? And that's really what I want. So that's not what you get here. So just keep that in mind. Still a good game. Not the best, but still fun. If you're into that sort of thing, you're pretty much platforming in this as X-Men characters. So, but pretty neat game there. Asteroids Hyper 64, or Hyper Asteroid 64, however you pronounce it, for Nintendo 64. This is great because it's basically asteroids in a more modern setting. You know, you've got your ship in the middle, and you can fly around, rotate, shoot all the asteroids. Typical asteroids fashion, and that's exactly what you do. But it does have different game modes and multiplayer, so a really fun game. Found this out in the wild for fairly cheap. I believe it was $5 or $4, and I thought, yeah, that's worth that. I'll check it out. You know, obviously I love the game in the arcade, so why not? I don't have one on 64, and reason why I got it, so I do now. NES, we got some Skate or Die, man. Skate or Die. Who doesn't love Skate or Die? Great music, great game, Ultra games. I mean, what's there to say about it? If you haven't played Skate or Die, sit down, pop this in, and have some fun. It reminds me a lot of, back in the day, before Tony Hawk, this was our exciting Tony Hawk. I mean, look at the outfit. Look at the helmet. Look at everything. This drew stuff all over him. This is so 80s, man. So 80s. I also remember playing a ton of 720, which I do own 720 on the NES as well, which also is a really fun game. And pretty decent port on the NES. The arcade version is by far the definitive port to play. Well, that's the original port. The consoles were the port. The arcade's the original game. That's what I'm trying to say. Skate or Die. Awesome game there. All right, guys. Let's see. Is that it? That's it. I appreciate you hanging out. I really hope you've enjoyed it. This has been so much fun, and I'm trying to keep the games separate so that I don't overlap, and I'm also going to go back and start playing some of these. So if you've played any of them, let me know what you think in the comments below. As always, if you enjoy what you see here, please feel free to subscribe. You can also follow me on Twitter and Facebook. It's the EMU Review, and I'm new to Instagram, guys. I finally joined that, so make sure to follow me there. It's jason.heine. H-E-I-N-E. So you guys, as always, have a great day, and make sure to have a fantastic game night. See you later.